But as we move in to our second segment, we talk about everyone's favorite team to hate and truly hate. That's the New York Yankees. And today they got some troubling news. They lose starter Luis Severino for the season to Tommy John surgery. And now Luis Severino, he was hurt last season as well. So
I was going to say, we did a topic on him, and I'm going to look it up.
This is not a comforting trend now with Luis Severino. However, I know a lot of people may tune in for this segment and go, yeah, so they lost Luis Severino. Who cares? They have Garrett Cole, Masahiro Tanaka, and J.A. Happ. But if you look at Masahiro Tanaka, last year he was 11-9 with an ERA, I think, at 4.91. So it really wasn't the Masahiro Tanaka numbers that you've had in the past. J.A. Happ has been a little up and down. Of course, Garrett Cole, 20-5 with a 2.50 ERA, and he looked great in his first start in spring training. But still, the New York Yankees are losing a guy right in the middle of their rotation who, Luis Severino, is a very good player. He's a stud pitcher, and I think a guy, if he was healthy the entire time, he would make a huge impact on their team. So I also didn't leave out James Paxton. They're going to be without him through at least April. So you take a look at that. You take a look at the fact that Domingo Germán has to serve his suspension, 81-game suspension, violating Major League Baseball's domestic violence policy. So he's eligible to return, but not until June 5th. Do you think that this has an immediate impact, any impact on the Yankees and how they move forward? Because they have Jordan Montgomery as a guy who could be in there, Davy Garcia, Michael King, Luis Sessa, potentially. And they threw a lot of guys in there last year who ended up being okay. I mean, we all know where the Yankees ended up getting to. They get to the playoffs, all that type of stuff, but they don't ultimately get to the big game, the big dance for them. Ricky, I mean, what do you think? Does this really mean anything at the end of the day?
So, refresh my memory. You said James Paxton is out. How long is he out for?
Through at least April.
Okay. So, not anything of significance. To me, I'm not super worried about this if I'm a Yankees fan. Like, yes, it sucks. Yes, it's a hit to your team. But this was a rotation that was looked at as the best in baseball this offseason. You get Garrett Cole. I don't have to talk about him. You know about him. Masahiro Tanaka. Pretty good pitcher. Your ace. So you basically have two aces on this team in my mind. Losing Severino, yes, it hurts. But you'll get James Paxton maybe April, early May, which isn't that big of a dent. How many games is this Yankee team going to lose in March and April? Basically the first month of the season. Not many. Germán, yes, the 81 games stinks. But yet again, this is not a team that is out to win the first 3 months of the year. They are out to win when it counts in October. And this is a team that I think the bats for the season, that is going to be the big part, playoff and regular season. Because if the bats can show up, less pressure for these pitchers, and they're going to get Paxton back. They're going to get Domingo back as well. So, like, for me, the early part of the year, I'm not really worried about. It's how do these guys perform when they come back? Is Paxton rusty? Do they struggle late down the year and they're not playing well at the end of the season? Then I would worry. But right now in the spring training, I think the Yankees are fine to handle Paxton and Germán being out. And when they come back, ideally in the playoffs, like a playoff rotation, you usually go down from like 5 to maybe 4 or 3. Usually it's 4. That fifth guy comes out. You've pretty much got a rotation of Garrett Cole game 1, Tanaka game 2, Paxton game 3, And then from there, game 4, you can go any number of situations. You can go basically with the hot hand of whoever's hotter at that point, J.A. Happ or Domingo Germán. Or at that point, you can say, screw it. Like, we need to throw Garrett Cole in there on short rest. You can go down to a 3-man rotation if you want to. So, like, yeah, it sucks. It would obviously be better to have the 4-man rotation of Cole, Tanaka, Severino, and Paxton. But I don't think if Germán or Happ have to be added into that 4th spot, I don't think it's the end of the world, because we could be in a situation where the Yankees are so good this year that 4th game is not a do or die game. That game where that 4th starter is in there is not going to be a do or die or a 2-2 series. We could be looking at 3-0, 2-1. Like, it's going to be one where I don't think that 4th starter is going to be as leaned on as you would if the top of that rotation was weaker.
So the Yankees last season in 2019 had a major league record 30 players served 39 stints on the injured list. So they currently, of course, Severino today is going on that injured list for the season. Paxton, as we've already mentioned, with back surgery, is going to be on that list to open the season. Aaron Judge, his spring debut was pushed back because of soreness in his right shoulder. Could this be part 2 of the Yankees having guys all season long? And if you look at last season, like it mattered, I suppose.
Yeah.
But having guys up and down the lineup, up and down the rotation, up and down the bullpen, be on and off that injured list throughout the season. There's only so much that you can do to get guys in the lineup. And again, they did a great job of doing that last year, so we've seen that they can do it. But it's not ideal for sure.
No,
if some of your key guys aren't with you, that starts to really deal a blow to the team.
Yeah, the thing that I think about, though, is, and I'm going to go back, the Yankees, they are not worrying about April and May. They're worrying about October.
And many teams are not.
Yeah. And I feel like even if they lose a couple more games in April or May than they would lose if they were fully healthy, if I'm the Yankees, I'm taking precautions to make sure my guys are healthy when it counts. Like, this is not a team where every single game is all 162 games are not going to matter. There's going to be games that don't matter. Like, this is a team that can kind of I'm taking this from the NBA, but you kind of need this you get this in baseball more because it's such a longer season.
Yeah.
They can do probably the first true load management in the NBA, where it's like, Aaron Judge, that calf is bothering you. You know what? We're playing the Marlins today. Take the day off. You know what? We're playing the Pirates today. Take the day off. We don't need you. You know what? We're playing the Royals. Take the day off. We don't need you. Like, they can strategically plan some days off, even if it's like, yeah, but I just had yesterday off. Yeah, but like I said, this is a series against the Royals. Take 2 off. Get fully healthy. Or I would even go as far as, it's still bothering you? Take the full 3 games off. We don't need you for 3 games in June against the Royals. We'll need you for 3 games against the Astros in April. Or not April. October is what I meant to say. We need you later on. So I know that's probably non-Yankee fans are like, that's just Yankee talk right there. Oh, they're going to be in the playoffs. What if they don't make it? Yeah, there's a chance they don't make it. Depends on how these injuries linger, but I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell you how the injuries are going to linger. Yes, you don't want guys up and guys down, and you never get that cohesive unit that's out there. But at this point in the year in spring training, I wouldn't really be worried about it if I'm Cashman or the Yankees.
Do you think, and I know that we talk about, and I get it, but do you think that maybe the Red Sox, a team that last year really struggled in terms of what their success usually is.
Oh, they're going to do much better without Mookie Betts.
Yeah, because most teams would.
Yeah, I know, right?
But do you think that they are able to capitalize on anything like this early on? And I know it seems maybe like a kind of a strange, weird question, but do they capitalize here earlier in the season where maybe the Yankees are struggling? Maybe the Red Sox hope to come out to a hot start. They play the Yankees. They don't have to worry about Severino being in there. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of...
Good question, wrong team. The teams that I would be more worried about that are A, the Rays, B, the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are a young team getting older. They are getting more experienced, I should say. They had a guy like Hyun-Jin Ryu in the offseason. The Rays were right there with the Yankees, only 7 games behind last year.
They were.
Great question, but I think we're looking at the wrong team. I think we're asking about the Red Sox because they're the Red Sox, and they're the name, and they're the rival. To me, if any team is going to capitalize in April or May while the Yankees are banged up, it's the Rays and the Blue Jays. And that could be important for them. They could steal a couple of games early on that could help them down the road. But I don't know if a couple games stolen early in the year is really going to make that big of a difference. Usually with baseball, it's a season of runs. Like I think of my Cubs when we won the World Series. That year during the season, we had a really good regular season. Didn't really have much lulls, and our bats were red hot the entire year. Whereas you go to 2018, our bats towards the end of the year, kind of went down. Where it was like we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in August, September, and then I think our playing game was technically in October, but we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Our offense couldn't put runs on the board. And that was why we were even in that play-in game against the Brewers, and then why we had to play that wild card game against the Rockies. Like, we lost that Rockies game. I want to say that was 1-0. We lost that game. The Brewer game was 3-1 we lost, where I remember watching that at work being like, why are we not scoring a run? We can't put effing runs on the board. And then the same thing happened in the wild card game.
And I completely agree with you. I'm just trying to think because I know a lot of the
it would be
races
boring just to say it's not a problem.
Well, because
move on.
The races really take shape in the middle of the season after the All-Star break and all those types of things. And you're right, it's definitely about
and
runs.
A hot start can benefit you.
A hot start can definitely benefit you. We all, of course, know teams that get a hot start then can completely fizz out at the end. You look at the Nationals last year. They certainly didn't have a hot start. People thought that Davey Martinez was going to lose his job, and
then they win.
Doesn't happen at all. They win the World Series. But
remember when I said I wouldn't be scared of the Nationals? That was fun.
I do. I do.
Yeah, and that Rocky game was 13 innings. Why did I? I'm just going to upset myself. Ignore me.
It's like playing World of Warcraft.
Jesus. Because I remember it vividly now. They scored 1 run in the first inning. It was 1-0 for most of the game. The Cubs tied it in the 8th. And I'm like, yes, 1 more run. That's all we need. And then we went in the extras. I'm like, we've got the advantage. We're at home. And then they scored in the 13th, and we couldn't get anything done. It felt like we needed so much just to get that 1 run in the 8th that usually I'm getting my heart broke, but besides the point, not about the Yankees.
No, I mean, and that's okay. I guess I just look at it and I think, again, the Yankees already starting off this season, similar to where they were last year. I think it was another thing last year where James Paxton, they had him at the beginning of the season. He went down. He had a good year overall when you look at his numbers, but he wasn't healthy for the entire season. So many guys weren't healthy for the entire season. Stanton wasn't healthy until way late into the year. Just those types of things. they do and can eventually catch up with you. So the Yankees really want to stay away from the injury bug this year, but as of today, it really has not been that way so far.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to look at last year too. Like, this was a Yankee team that started out 8-10 by the time they hit middle of April. Then after that point, from going 8-10, they rattled off a win streak that by the end of April they were 17-11. By the beginning of June, they were 38-19. So it's like, that's how I feel like this year for the Yankees is going to be. Even if they're 8-10, 9-11, like losing record early on in the season, that eventually guys are going to come back. They're going to get their mojo, and that they're going to be a team that goes on runs like they did last year. Like I said, 8-10. Then they jumped out to 7-11. Lost a couple games, but then from 18-14, they jumped out to 32-17. Then after another losing streak, when they were 41-27, they went on another win streak right before the All-Star break that got them to 57-29. That's going to be the important part for the Yankees. Is that when they're healthy, going on these long win streaks of 10-plus games that can really bolster their lead within that AL East division? Because I kind of hate to say it, this may be a team, and maybe this plays into the discussion of what you're saying about why an early hot start may be important, of this team, because of the expectation that many have that they're going to be a plus 100 win team.
Well, I think that's...
Many people have them as a plus 100 win team.
Absolutely, and they certainly can be, but it's just going to be of utmost importance to keep the guys and the right guys that you need to do that healthy.
I can't wait until we have our official season predictions for the division and stuff.
Absolutely cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Because yet again, also, too, their first 12 games are AL East opponents. They've got Orioles, Rays on the road, Blue Jays, and Orioles at home.
Well, you know, those Orioles, which by the way...
I'm sorry, 13 games.
While we're talking here...
Yep, the Orioles.
About the Orioles. So last year, it seemed like...
You got a bone to pick with Baltimore?
No. Okay. I got a bone to pick with whoever is scheduling the Yankees to play the Orioles 50 games a year, it feels like, and win about 48 of them. Because half the reason the Yankees, and I want to just go out here and piss off Yankees fans so they can be like, no, that's not true. Half the reason the Yankees are always in the playoffs is thanks to the Orioles.
Because you get so many games.
Because you get 50 wins just from Baltimore.
Yeah, but you guys get to play the Royals this year. And the Tigers. The Tigers aren't really that good either.
We don't play 50 games against them. Well, maybe the two combined. But you do not. The Yankees are playing Baltimore like they're getting. Gary Sanchez can thank the Orioles for getting about 20 of his 30-some home runs.
Shouldn't it be the same because they're the same amount of teams in each division?
I don't feel like it.
Yeah, because Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Orioles, that's 5.
Doesn't feel
Twins,
like it's
Indians, White Sox, Royals, Tigers.
No, I understand, but playing the Royals and the Tigers combined, I think, is the 50 games. Playing the Orioles feels like it's just 50 games for the Yankees. Every time I see the Yankees, they're playing Baltimore, and they're beating them like 19-2.
Let's see. The Yankees and the Orioles this year have... Really? You're not going to... I wish Google would just tell me. I said, hey, how many times do these two teams play? And they decided to not tell me. This year, they have 1, 2, 3. Really? You're not going to separate it by team? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3, 7. 10. 13. Math on a live podcast is good. What was I at? 13?
13.
15. 19. They play 19 games against each other.
And the Yankees
way less
win
than 50.
19 of them. Every time.
So I'm assuming if I went to the White Sox, that you would also have 19
The Royals
games against
in the Tigers. Well,
Royals.
not the Tigers, but the Royals are better than Baltimore.
You think so?
It's not a walk in the park every time you're going to play the Royals.
You really think so?
Yes.
Okay. I would beg to differ that they're not that.
Last year, the walk in the park was Detroit. I will say that.
So
they
do you
were
want me to look
awful.
up Detroit?
Sure.
Do you think Detroit's a walk in the park this year?
Hopefully.
Okay. So against Detroit, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 13, 16, 19.
So I'm still gonna say I think it's unfair that the Yankees get to play Baltimore 50 times a year.
If anything,
Just gonna say it.
if anything, you should be sorry for my team
Well, why would I be?
because I got to play 19 games. Well, not me personally, but you got to play 19 games against the Cardinals, 19 games against the Brewers, 19 games against the Reds, who apparently are going to be a way better team and win the division this year. I don't see it. They'll be better, but they ain't winning no division this year. And then, yes, I get 19 games against the lowly Pirates. Division is stacked in the NL Central. I feel really sorry for the Padres because they got to play 19 games against the Dodgers, D-backs, Giants, and Rockies, who are all better than them.
Well, again, I just
and the Padres have Manny Machado.
every time you're seeing a Yankees Baltimore score, it's like 10-1, 13-3. Like, come on. All I'm saying.
Why did Manny Machado leave the AL for the Orioles of the NL?
The money.
But wouldn't the be the Orioles of the NL? Am I wrong?
The Marlins.
Stacked of it.
Marlins.
I would say the NL West is more stacked than the NL East, though.
I thought you were going based off of just bad.
Well, I mean, they're both bad, but like you look at the. Yeah, I would say that because in the East you have the Yankees are a powerhouse usually. The Rays are sometimes good. The Red Sox usually are a powerhouse. The Blue Jays aren't bad.
And then you just had the Blue Jays who were there.
Yeah,
They're just there.
The AL West, it's the Astros and the A's, and then 3 teams in the Rangers, Angels, and Mariners that are like, well, yeah, you're all not good. You're under 500. You're not sniffing anywhere near the playoffs. Where that's what I feel like the East was last year. Braves and Nationals, and then Mets, Phillies, and Marlins are just, here you are. You're in the division. Where the Diamondbacks were good. The Giants.
Where are you? The Mets were not bad last year.
They weren't great.
They won 86 games.
Well, it wasn't great. Still 11 games out of the division.
Yeah, but, you're not giving them enough credit.
The thing that hurts me is that, yes, the Diamondbacks at 85 games were 21 games out of the division. That hurts me.
They had the Dodgers.
Oh, I know. Powerhouse Dodgers over there. And I'm trying to say that the NL Central is a more stacked division.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The molehills Ricky decides to die.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're definitely dying on that one. But anyways.
Sam says the Padres are an upcoming super team in a couple years.
Yeah, he ain't saying that about the Marlins. They're not an upcoming.
No.
They're the Baltimore Orioles of the NL. Case closed.
But Miami is going to host a, what is it? Is it College World Series? Semifinals and finals? They're hosting some games. I'm going to look it up, but go ahead.
I was just going to close out the segment.
Yeah, the Marlins. Oh, they're going to host the semis and the finals of the World Baseball Classic.
I thought it was the World Baseball Classic, but I didn't want to say it and be wrong and have people be like, you're dumb.
No, you're right. You're smart, Brandon.
Nah, certain days. But anyway, so that'll close it out on this segment, talking Luis Severino. And what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yankees fans who aren't just completely cursing me out, what do you think about Luis Severino's injury? Are you worried? Are you not worried? What do you think about some of the other injuries with Paxton? What are you thinking about Herman being with his suspension? Yes, he comes back, but it's not till June. And then any of the other guys. Do you think you could beat your record from last year of the amount of guys you got on the injured list?